I think for me, mental health means that having that peace of mind, that you're able to think effectively and having that peace and calm inside you, your emotionally well-being. And if there's things that come that are difficult in life, you're able to deal with it.
For me, mental health is about being able to cope with a stressful situation and not let it overwhelm me. Just being able to have those positive thoughts, because mental health is about how you think, and how you think affects how you behave. So in as much as there's stress, if that stress is not enabling you to be able to live a fulfilling life, then that stress is a mental health.
There's always that element of denial, because it's the way mental health is perceived due to the different cultures that we come from. And because of that, it's not very easy for the community, even for the individuals, just to accept that, yes, I'm struggling with mental health. Hence, many of the issues of mental health are hidden under the table, so that at least you're seen as normal, because mental health is seen as abnormal, as madness, as crazy, and so nobody wants to be identified with that. And because of that, we just want to play it cool. Then it becomes very difficult to identify mental health at the initial stages until it's a crisis. So in the initial stages, everybody will just assume and things will get better, being a strong woman, black strong woman, but then it will progress until it's just a crisis. Then that is when everybody will come in and say, hey, something happening here.
So it could be like having constant backache, having constant tummy ache, having constant migraines. You go to the GP a lot of times, you take medicines, but it doesn't seem to work. You try different things, but it doesn't work. But really, to be able to address that chronic pain that you're having, you might need to go through some form of mental health support like counseling, or sometimes even medication. And with counseling, the important thing is then you are able to dig deep, and you might not even know that there is an issue. It might be something that happened, as we say, we normalize things and you brush it off. Oh, this happened like 10 years ago, but it's nothing. But that might be the reason why you are having stomach ache, backache, even seizures. People have been known to have seizures caused by, mental issues. And then once you address those, then you find that those physical symptoms and signs just disappear. So I think that's quite important, because we don't always make the link between mental health issues and like physical symptoms. That's just what I wanted to add.
And I also wanted to say that it's not always the case that actually we identify mental health. Sometimes the individuals who are struggling with mental health may not actually know that they're struggling.
Yeah.
But somebody else will be able to see something is not right with this person here. So how are you going to listen with love, don't judge, and actually see what that person needs?
I think if someone is experiencing domestic abuse, they're more inclined to just be quite introverted. They don't want to talk to anyone. They feel that maybe they're in the wrong. They also feel quite maybe scared to reach out to someone because they're scared of what might happen. If they did reach out to someone, even if they're just talking about anything as a friend or anything, because they're scared of what this person who is domestically abusing them might do. So I think people who are being domestically abused, their mental health can suffer and they can be very just quiet.
I think the worst than the physical abuse is the emotional abuse, which many of us, we don't realize that it's an abuse. Somebody just throwing negative words at you. Those negative words really have an impact on our mental well-being.
Growing up where we come from, there's a way that we were taught of a good wife has to be this way. And you deciding or making that choice to walk away from that situation is always frowned upon. So it's down to the woman to decide or to think, look, this is my life and I have to take it back. I have to own my life, because I was in that situation where I was married and I knew how to be a good wife. I knew how to just say yes. I never knew how to say no for the longest time. And the symptoms were, I had a very low self-esteem, low confidence. I doubted myself. I was skinny as you can name it. But the day I decided to walk away and say, look, I don't think this is how this relationship should be, it was frowned upon. I was called names, I was told this, because I come from Kenya and people are like, no, you shouldn't walk away from your marriage, you should try. But I'm like, it wasn't good for me. It was not good for me. So now looking back, I'm like, yes, I'm glad that I did that, because if I stayed on, I think I would have done something else. I would have either turned to drugs or alcohol just to cope, because I wasn't coping. And I look at myself now and I'm like, I realize I have to be strong for myself, and people have to educate themselves that if something is not right for you, you have a right to walk away, regardless. If it's not for, even if it's a friendship for how many years, if that friend is not a good friend to you, just walk away.
We know that you can only give what you have. Yeah. So if you don't look after yourself, you're not in a better position to look at somebody else.
The first time I actually stood many years ago to actually talk about my situation of being an FGM victim, for many years, that was harder. It was a very, very challenging thing for me to do. But the moment the first time I spoke about it, it was like, woof, it can be done. It was a huge relief. I felt that sort of ease off my shoulder. And that's what sometimes we go through mental health. So even though I didn't realize or would associate that it was a challenge for me, I didn't realize until when I first spoke about it, I felt, oh my goodness, it's like a huge thing off my shoulder.
Yeah, this is about actually normalizing these conversations. Just as I would go about saying I have a headache. Let's be comfortable saying, mentally I'm not okay, and it's okay not to be okay.
Ba-da-bum-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum-bum.